Today we're talking about risk analysis, how to analyze risk on your projects. But before we start, I want to stop and take a look at the word analyze, because so many times I hear people interchanging different words like risk identification, risk management, risk analysis. They're three different words, three different things. So the whiteboard session today, we're going to talk about the analysis. And when we analyze the risk, we're examining methodically in detail. And why would we want to do this? Well, there are several really big reasons why. First of all, we're trying to avoid any potential litigations, address maybe any regulatory issues, or comply with new legislation. Ultimately, we're trying to reduce our exposure and minimize the impact of any risk. So what are some insights that we've had in working with so many projects? Well, first of all, we found that there's no lack of information out there about risk. But what happens is sometimes much of the information is very complex and can be quite intimidating. Most industries have their own best practices and many companies have their own framework. And we found that the risk analysis can be done to extremes. On some projects, it's not done at all because they feel like they don't have any risk. And then on some projects, it's done to the nth degree. I mean, think about it. If we're sending a rocket to the moon with astronauts, we want to protect those people. So let's look at where and when the risk analysis is done. Well, if we look at the project management process groups, the planning process is where we start looking at the risk, and it's done throughout the entire project. So we develop our risk management plan and identify the risk, and those are captured in our risk register. So as a reminder, the register identifies all the risks, the impacts, the risk response, and the risk level. We're ultimately looking at what the potential impacts to the activity resource estimates, the activity duration estimates, possibly the schedule, the cost estimates, budgets and quality, and even the procurements. So when we take the risk register, then we take those items, and that's where we do the detail analysis. And we do that in two parts. The first part, we perform a qualitative risk analysis. And there, what we're doing is, that's a process of prioritizing the risk for further analysis or action, depending upon the probability and the impact of those risks. The benefits of that is it helps to reduce the level of uncertainty of those risks on the project and allows us to focus on the high priority risk. The second piece is performing the quantitative risk analysis. And what that is, it's a process for numerically analyzing the effect of those risks on the project. The benefit of that is it helps support in decision making to reduce the project uncertainty. And again, that can help us, number one, plan the risk responses and control those risks. So those are some great reasons why, and a few tips on how to analyze the risk on your projects. So if you need a tool that can help you analyze the risk on your project, then sign up for our software now at projectmanager.com.